Yeah, the fanatic. Where we keep it 100, keep it real. That's the only way we know how to be. Talking that sports talk. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of South Carolina. Upstate, A64. Yeah, TFANATTIC. The fanatic where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what I
Welcome into the Fan Act Sports Show for sports fans by a sports fan. It's your boy Coach I. And you know I got the stat guy with me. What's going on, stat guy?
Going on, Coach? Ready to talk some SEC football?
That's right, man. Another big weekend in the SEC, just like this past weekend, where LSU, nighttime in the Bayou, took down Nick Saban and company. And then in between the hedges, Georgia did the same to Tennessee. Listen, man. It's that time of year, man. You can't have no slip-ups. This next one is just as important for both teams, really. Ole Miss especially. Ole Miss lost to LSU. That's their only loss on the season. So they need LSU to lose one, but they also have to win out. You know what I'm saying? So let's just a quick recap. Ole Miss was off this past weekend, resting up, getting healthy. It was their first bye week. After a long, that's a long time to go before you got a bye week, but I'm pretty sure it was much needed. Alabama was busy in the Bayou taking on the Tigers. Ended up losing in overtime, man. Brian Kelly with the gutsy call to go for two. I know he was at home, but normally you do that on the road when you don't have the crowd. But he went for it on two. You know, trusted Jaden Daniels to throw the ball and not run the ball to a freshman tight end nonetheless. Scored the 2-point conversion, and it was all she wrote. So, listen, man, this SEC race is critical now. What you thinking about the SEC right now, man? The SEC West in particular.
Yeah, I mean, the East is all but summed up with Georgia's remaining schedule. They've all but locked that up after the win against Tennessee. But the West is nuts right now. I mean, you're looking at an LSU team that controls their own destiny. They would have to lose. Ole Miss would have to win out. They would have to lose twice, and Bama would have to win out to sneak Bama back in there. I mean, it looks like everything's lining up for LSU to win the West. But, hey, we still got 4 weeks left, so still plenty of time or 3 weeks left now, so still plenty of time for action these final 3 weeks for something to shake down. You never know. That SEC's a grind, man, week in and week out. You never know who will jump up and trip you.
And as we've seen, man, home field advantage means something because of the size. One of the biggest reasons is because of the size of the stadiums. And I know people don't like to hear it when they say it's different in the SEC, but when it comes to home field advantage, top to bottom, it is different. Outside of Vanderbilt, and I know Missouri's making changes. They may have added some. They have plans to get up to about 80, 90,000, but almost everybody in the SEC is like 83,000 plus. And Ole Miss, I don't think is any different. So, and they get loud down on the Grove. So, I mean, we've seen it. We saw it last week with Georgia and Tennessee. We saw it with Alabama and LSU. We saw it a couple weeks ago with Alabama and Tennessee. We saw it at Texas A&M and South Carolina. I mean, listen, when you go on the road, it's a lot of crazy fans sitting in those stands, man, making a lot of noise. So let's talk about that Ole Miss offense, man, and going against that Alabama defense. Ole Miss is not a traditional. This year is not like a typical what we think of Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin like to toss it around the yard. They've been ground and pound first.
Yeah, no, you're looking at an Ole Miss team. They're averaging 37 points a game, and you want to talk about a run game, man. 267 yards a game on the ground. Obviously, with Judkins and then Evans as the two-headed monster leading that. Obviously, Jackson Dart can run a little bit, but man, what a change for Lane. And it's almost like he's like, look, I have the horses. I'm going to do what I need to do to win football games. And it's not letting his pride of being like a prolific air raider get in his way. And they still throw it a little bit. I mean, 222 yards through the air. You can't really beat that. You're looking at like in the 490s per game. I mean, they're putting up numbers. So they're definitely it's a fun offense, and when that run game's rolling, it's fun to watch.
That's right. And Judkins is already over 1,000 yards. Evans is right in that 630 something range, I think. But Evans is actually has less carries, but more yards per carry. And then on the outside, you still got Jonathan Mingo, you got Wade, and like you say, Jackson Dart's not having a great year, but he's having a steady year. You know what I'm saying? He's got 7 picks on the year. I know they definitely don't want any picks in this game coming up, but if Judkins and Evans are on like they've been, it could get interesting down there on the Grove, man. Alabama's got 29 sacks, so I don't know how much Lane is going to be. I know how much he's going to be putting it in the air, unless it's like third and longer than 7. Of those sacks, Anderson and Turner account for 11 of them, so they get after the quarterback pretty good. The one thing that does concern me about that Alabama defense when it comes to stopping this run game is when you're just talking about solo tackles. Their top 6 tacklers, 5 of those are DBs. And if you're making solo tackles as DBs, I know some of those could be tackles for loss, safeties, Battle and Helms, they coming up, but I don't need my corners, McKinstry and Arnold. I don't need those guys, top 6 in solo tackles. That means, like, listen, man. I need that line in that front 7. I need Toto's definitely, he's top 2, but I need him and I guess it's DJ Dill. I need them guys in the front 7, man, to step up and make some more plays.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I mean, you say that, but this Alabama defense, man, you think of it and you look at some of the games they've lost, and you're like, maybe they've lost something, but stat-wise, I mean, still a dominating defense. You're talking about 18 points a game, only giving up 300 yards of total offense a game, 104 on the ground and 199 through the air. So it's not like they're getting smacked around all over the ball field either.
That's true. I just, like I said, it's not that hey, whoever's making the tackles is making the tackles, but when you play it, I think Ole Miss has an elite run game. Alabama's own Ole Miss, outside of the Hugh Freeze years for the most part. But I just don't like for my DBs to have to be the ones tackling elite running backs, and that's what I think they're facing this week. And if you want to flip it over, man, Alabama, listen, their best defense could be their offense. They can put up points when everything is clicking, but they have to go against that Ole Miss defense. Give me some numbers on that Ole Miss defense and that Alabama offense.
Yeah, so we'll start with the Ole Miss defense. Not as good as Bama's, but not horrible either. Only giving up 21 points a game, 155 on the ground, and another 222 through the air. So, I mean, only 378 a game. They're under 400, which is obviously a good number to be under. But that 155 on the ground, the 200 plus through the air, I mean, there's definitely some room for Bama to move the football, but they have kind of that bend don't break defense. They don't give up a ton of points.
Yeah, and Gibbs is the key to Alabama. I mean, everybody's got to come to play, but Gibbs is the leading rusher. He's like top 2 in receptions, if not the leading receiver on the team. Definitely one of them. I think receptions, he's a leader, but in receiving yards, I want to say that goes to Brooks. They got Brooks, Gibbs, Burton, Prentice, a couple of more guys that's in that passing game. But they got to do a better job protecting. They don't give up a whole bunch of sacks, but they definitely listen, man. Bryce is out there and he's making things happen. I still think he's the best player in college football. I don't think he's winning the Heisman by far because they haven't been put up the astronomical numbers like we're used to seeing, but they got to give him some help, man, and give him a little bit more time and keep him upright and clean versus this Ole Miss defense. Let's get on to some predictions. Give me the over under and give me the point spread down in the Grove.
Yeah, so the over under for this game is 64 points, and the spread is Alabama going to the Grove, favored by 12.
Favored by 12, 64. Favored by 12. They still thinking both teams are going to put some points up. I mean, it's still Nick Saban, man. I know people like to, say they got 2 losses, but, one was at Tennessee by 3 where their kicker misses a field goal, and who knows, they could win that game if he hits that field goal. And then they lost in overtime by a 2-point conversion at LSU at night, which nobody wants to play down on the Bayou at night. So 12 points. What you going with? Tell me what you going with, and then I'll give you my prediction.
Well, look, man, I like to follow a couple simple life rules. You shouldn't steal fish from a bear. You shouldn't drink and drive. And you definitely don't play Nick Saban coming off a loss. And so following those rules, I'm taking Alabama. I'm taking them to cover, and I'm going Roll Tide 35-20.
35-20. They are covering. I kind of like that. I'm at the point where I think also that I'm going to go with Alabama. I'm going to go with Alabama 31-17, and I am taking them to cover. I think Nick Saban, at the heart of it, he's still, Kirby is his Saban disciple, and they believe in stopping the run first. So I think he'll have a good plan on stopping the run. I think Jackson Dart's mobile, but I don't think he's near as athletic as Daniels from LSU, who gave Alabama a lot of problems, always have given Nick Saban a lot of problems with the athletic quarterbacks such as Daniels. I don't think Dart's on that level. So I'm not saying they'll stop Ole Miss's run game, but I think they'll be able to slow it down. And even though it's on the Grove, give me Bama, man, 31-17. So Bama fans, Ole Miss fans, there you have it, man. Don't forget to get in the comments. Let us know what you think the score is going to be. And Ole Miss, just a note. Listen, it looks like Alabama's down, and if that's the case, you only get so many shots at the king of college football, man. You might want to take them down when you got a chance. So let us know how you think the game's going to go, what the key is going to be for the stat guy, Coach Todd. This is Fan Addict, and we are out.
Peace.
We got it jumping like it's that valley. I call my dogs out the pound, let's go eat. Turn on the Fan Addict, let's have a debate. Who really hold down the Southeast from state to state? What team home